Hello, welcome to my talk. My name is Moises Lopez. I am Baxu CTO. I am Odoo enthusiast since 2008. I am an expert in performance matter for Odoo. We talk about what do you need to do to support 5,000 concurrent users, how to find performance issues, how to fix them, what are the most common of them, what tools should we use. The Odoo live production instance looks like this guy versus final user. That is the narrows because all the user are using the same system and so the system start to go slow and the system go down. But how can I fix it? Where is the heavy process? How to reproduce? Because I can't do the booking production directly. How to trace it? Where is the source code where it is doing slow? Another thing is have an environment to reproduce, and sometimes we don't have the same server or the same scenario to reproduce. What tools shall we use? We can use to stress test case 6. We need to monitor system monitor, Savix in this case. We need to get database log and get analyzers. In this case, PG Badger is a good tool and PG Hero. Python Profiler, it is a good idea to get flame graph from using PySpy or Periscope. This is an example from PG Badger. It is an output tell use, and it is tell use. It is slow, this query. And the Python profiler looks like this one. The bar bigger is the Python process or Python method slower. In this case, what is wrong? We have a search with a domain using ID in these IDs, but we have a domain to using a computer field. This means that the Odoo will need to process all these computer field for the records. It is a good example of slow code. Sometimes the problem is not in Python, but Postgres. A few cases you will have slow queries where an index is required. So you will have the same query so faster, running so faster. These are kind of fixes you can apply in order to support too many users. Queues, for example, queues help you to run methods without stressing the server. For example, sending emails could stress the server. If you add a queue to send emails, they will be sent by one. This fix will help you to run the same method too many times, but computing only one time. Group by, it is about SQL. Prefetch, I have add links in order to get what means. Reduce number of calls. If you have a loop calling the same method, maybe you can get a global one. Optimize time of process. Reusar similar things. Reduce cache clearing calls. In order you can use clear caching. The cache methods will be reset. So the methods will be recomputed. So you need to reduce the quantity of clear caching. Remove unused code. Sometimes you are calling a method what is not used, but it is slow. Cache locally external service has possible. For example, if you are checking an email, if it is valid or no, using a service, you can get the answer, the reply, in order to store in the database. So next time you won't use the external service. You will use your local database. Improves resource of the hardware. I mean IO disk, network, RAM, more cores, more processors. Optimize database with its hardware. It means get the parameters of the Postgres configuration. Optimize SQL with analyze. Improve Odoo workers. I mean increase the number of workers. Avoid to pressing too many times the same button at the same time. It means in the JavaScript get and debounce method in order to avoid to press the same method, then to call that method too many times and go down the server. Using content delivery network, there are a tutorial in Odoo page in order to use this one. It means if you have an image in your product, in your website, you don't need to computer each time the page is retrieved. You can use these external servers in order to get that image from external service and not all. So it is faster. Using load balancer like Nginx, scaling servers, horizontal or vertical, how you are using. Demo. I will show you how an slow process. I just press enter and it is loading. And this is the worst screen the user like to see, right? So I don't know why it is slow. I just put 100 record here. So I will to enable the Postgres logs, and I will to enable the PySpy in order to get the 5 grams. Okay, all the methods will be saved in sampling file in this file, and all the queries are stored too. All the queries executed. So I just reproduce the same problem, and you can see all the queries running and the time and so on, and the sampling files is generating. Okay, so it is loading. I don't know why is slow. I don't know. We are in this situation. How can I fix? What is the heavy process? How to reproduce? How to trace? In this case, it's easy because I can reproduce, so no big deal there. And the user is many user opening that view can be the system go down. So let's wait a little bit. Finish. So I stopped the server and the file was generated, and with the log of Postgres I will run pgbadger in order to analyze the logs, and I will save this file. So it is the result of pgbadger. It is a summary global stat. I will check if there are logs or database, vacuums, process, temporary files, all looks good. But we have a top slowest individual queries here. this spend more than 1 second. Okay, this is time consuming queries. It is a big problem because it is of the most of the time is spent in this query, and we have these examples, right? So why it is wrong? Because it is running too many times. Okay, and the max duration is 1 second, so it's a lot of time. We find the problem. Okay, let's to check the flame graph of Python. Okay, the size of bar is the we need to check. In this case, the bar bigger is this one, so this one, and we find an issue in this line in this code. Okay, it is consuming a lot of time, so it is maybe the same than the queries is executed from this query is executed from this line of code of Python. So we are crossing the two information. So I will check this line of code. Okay. And this is the line. This is the slow line. Okay. We have too many records here in the tree view. It is checking the access right to read. It is fine, but for each record, it will be compute a search count about each line of invoice line IDs where subscription it's equal to my subscription. So it is so slow. Okay, I have created a change. I just revert in order to have it, and I have changed this one to have a read group. This will get all the invoice of all IDs in one step, and it will be count what is the move ID. It is the same invoice ID in 14 version. Okay, so I have stored the subscription ID in order to get this for subscription ID and get this information here. Okay, so let's to check this patch how works. I will clear the SQL logs. So we will check the same. I press enter, and now it's loading, and it is faster. We even don't see the loading page. So let's check the result, and now the time is so low. So it is fixed. This tree view will support more users using the same quantity of records. Another example to improve the speed of methods is to using ORM cache. In this case, I am using ORM cache over these values. So the first time this method will spend 3 seconds, but the second time it will be faster because the result will be the same using the same parameters. What means I just press enter 1, 2, 3, and the result is here. But if I run the same method again, it is faster. But if I change the values, it will compute the new value, but next time it will be faster. So it is another way to support more users Another way to improve the performance or methods is to using PG Hero. It is using production live. It is using live production queries, information, and stats, and it is showing where there are missing index or indexes. Uh, in this case, it is running too many times or the time is so high. So an example is we can run explain analyze verbose buffers. In the query we are using or we improve in the previous example, and we can see we have a sequence scan to filter the subscription underscore ID, right? And it is spending this time. So maybe it is a big problem. It is running a lot of times. So I am creating this index in order to check the improve of the performance in the same query. And now the time is so lower. And we don't have sequence scan, but bitmap scan. It is using the index burra. Okay. An important thing to check when you have your database, you need to check you have a collate equal to C in your database. Why it is important? I have created the following issue if you like to follow up, and the indexes are not working well in some case, so it is a large matter, okay, but you need to check this in order to be sure why do you need this collate. The words of issue to put down an instant is concurrent updates. I mean, two user or three user updating the same record, because you will have a serialization failure and Odoo will retry in a way. So it is running the same method too many times, and it is using workers. So if you don't have more workers to use, any user can't connect to the instance because they are very busy in this process or waiting for unlock the record. So you need to put special attention in these kind of issues in the PG Badger or in the PG Hero. In this case, I have created a fix in Odoo itself. It is a good example because before it is making a write, importing records. So if two user or more user is importing record at the same time, so they can use a lot of workers with a lot of time one worker, because this write is executing from this user and another user is executing the same the same write in the same record. Okay, so it is comparing if it is different, so it needs to be right. Other case, no write needed here. The prefetch of Odoo helps us to get all the fields from the table without retrieve one by one, column by column. So it helps us, but sometimes it not help us. Here I have all the queries executed, and I have on Odoo shell. So check when I am using products name, I retrieve the column name. Check all the queries it is executed. Is so bigger, right? And it is adding another tables. In this case is the translation table. Yes, but maybe you are using only one field in your method or in your code. Maybe you are not using all these translated fields. So what about if I am using only default code? Okay, so if I can use prefetch field context, in this case with context prefetch fields equal to false. Okay, so check the new query is smaller and faster. Okay, in the past the first one was heavy and large. So sometimes you can use this way in order to get only the field you are using. The good news is if you need to retrieve the same column, so no SQL executor because it is retrieved from environment cache. So that is the reason I use invalidate cache here. But if a field is not present in the cache, so it will be retrieved in the same way. Okay, so you need to use this parameter. You need to be careful because if you are using 10 fields, you are retrieving 10 fields, so you will run 10 queries, and it is the worst case. Maybe you want clear fill the cache using all your columns you will use using this way. So next time using the same columns, check no new queries executor. So you need to looking for a balance with this parameter. There are more improves you can do in your code, but the time is over for this talk. So I just open the discussion to question, or you can follow up in these accounts, or you can visit our webpage. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you so much, Maurice, for this very nice presentation. Very technical, but I'm sure very helpful for a lot of people out there. Very great presentation. I'm sure it was a
Thank
very
you.
tough project. And based on that, I have a general question and maybe a little bit more specific question. But what are the most common issue and problem that you see when you have to do such sizing, such implementation on the server size? Yeah.
Okay, the most common issue is related with custom fields that custom modules, and the user is creating base automations. The base automation tending to be slow. So I think that is the most common, and when they use Odoo Studio,
Yep.
the no technical people is using slow methods or slow ways, and that I think is the most common issue related with performance.
Performance. Yeah. So always
Mhm.
always ask your partners to train you on Studio before to use it, basically. Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting. I have a other quick question regarding locus. Regarding case 6, sorry. Question from someone asking how come you are using case 6 instead of locus? Is it better than locus for doing stress and load testing? Yeah.
Well, I just mentioned the tools you can use, but there are a lot in the flame graph. Sorry, you can use PySpy, but there are a lot of other ones. And in this case, we are using Key6 because I like it.
Yeah,
I
so
like
it's
it.
okay.
So maybe if Locus is working for you, maybe it's a good tool too.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but for everybody who is listening right now, Moise is going to be available on the link I'm going to post on the chat, and you can jump on a call and ask him any question in live. So, Moise, thank you so much for this presentation, and see you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.